Now batting for the Reds, number 44, the shortstop, Ellie Thrill.
Here are your hosts, Ricky Logan and Roger Straz.
Welcome to the Red Hot Reds podcast. That's Ricky. I'm Roger. It is Sunday at 8 p.m.-ish, and we are live, and we are talking Reds, even though that we may not be able to escape our homes for a while. If you haven't heard the news of the day, if you're living somewhere where you're not getting snowed on by the foot.
One of the rare places in the country right now.
Yeah, I mean, just watching the NFL football game, seeing the progress from Denver going from like just 26 degrees to like no snow to like being, that classic, football game in the snow where you can't see anything and they got to blow all the snow off the field like every 5 minutes. That was kind of crazy. And yeah, here in Cincinnati and the tri-state area where Ricky's at, it is Snowmageddon. It is what they said it was. A lot of people obviously going up to it. Freaked out about getting their food and whatnot from Kroger and wherever, and maybe rightly so. We might be snowed in for a couple days here, but other than that, how have you been doing, Rick?
Cold.
Yeah.
Other than that, not a lot going on. We did have some stuff that we're going to talk about a little bit later about some players the Reds are interested in, but the TV deals are kind of holding them up. But other than that, not a whole lot going on.
Yeah, I find myself getting older and older every day because it's kind of a joke around our house, kind of not a joke as well. But I'm like, hey, wife, when are we moving to, Phoenix? When are we moving to San Diego? When we moving to South Carolina? But I'm like, I every winter I think is pushing me further and further south mentally, at least because I as Mike would say, Mike Valentine, our buddy at All Gloves Off Sports Media, you can't shovel sunshine.
Yeah.
So, he gets to live that. There's the Ricky. You were talking about the rare place of the United States where they're not getting a foot of snow is Phoenix, Arizona. How about that?
And it must be nice.
A place will be in a couple months. It's too bad they don't have spring training in January. Would have been there already.
That's my favorite thing about baseball season is it's warm. Have the Reds ever played a game in the snow? Not that I can remember.
There was a Cleveland Guardians, and they might have been the Indians back then, where they had a game delayed because of snow. Because they had an opening day in Cleveland at the end of March, and it was like 6 or 7 inches of snow.
Yeah.
It's like you can't play baseball. Like they don't have a dome there at the Jake or wherever it's called, Progressive Field. So yeah, that was kind of crazy. And the other thing about baseball is that basically, you can be outside all the time. Like you said, it's during the summer months. It's during a time where you're meant to be outside. I don't know. I'm getting on my old man soapbox about about winter because it's just I don't know. I don't like I guess being locked in my home is what I'm trying to get across.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I even got an email just now from Rumpke saying that they can't pick up my garbage. We actually pick up on Tuesdays, but I think because tomorrow's canceled, that might delay. Maybe it'll delay. Maybe it'll be Wednesday now. But Rumpke is now even taking the day off. If the garbage men need the day off, then it's
as they should.
Yeah, they deserve it. They work really early hours, and they're probably not going to clear the roads until probably noon tomorrow.
Yeah, and it might even be later than that because it's supposed to be like negative temperatures Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning. So I guess I don't know. I've already got days planned for work about like e-learning days just for the cold after this.
Yeah, those people that get on the Everything app talking about I'd rather have 30 degrees instead of 90. No more talking points from them. They don't get to say that they don't want that. In 90 degrees weather, at least you can be outside. Now it's going to be like 28 degrees for like the next 5 days. That snow ain't going anywhere. It's not melting. So we're pretty much going to be, stuck inside, I feel, unfortunately. But we get to talk Reds baseball. And it sounds like checking in from Phoenix, Arizona, Mr. Mike Valentine. No snow here. Yep. Can't shovel sunshine. I can't say that.
Can't shovel sunshine, brother.
Yeah, too many S's. It gets me
yeah.
tripped up. But 58 degrees here? That seems cold.
Yeah, that's like coat weather for you guys there.
Yeah, you gotta wear a sweatshirt or something. That seems horrible. You got it hard there, Mike. 58 degrees, man. Anyway, but we can't talk Reds baseball, and there hasn't been much news. We had the show on Wednesday, Ricky, right? So like we kind of covered a lot of topics there, and we can kind of go over it. We left off some topics knowing we need to talk about something today on today's show, but there have been some weird rumors. There's always the John Heyman tweet of like the Reds are interested in X, Y, or Z. But there were some compelling names I thought that I put on our list that may or may not happen. I don't know exactly how you feel about it, but I think the reports were like Gino Suarez might be in the running to be signed by the Reds. Also, 2 ex-Reds or just on the team just last year, Austin Hayes and Miguel Andujar. Any of those guys you want to start with?
Yeah, give me 2 out of the 3. I want Gino and Andujar. Hayes, for me, just the inconsistency of not playing. I mean, he did play like 100 games, but it felt like he played like 30 just from how much he would miss play. And I get it. Andujar had like the little the quad or the hamstring or the quad in late August. Mm-hmm. But I like Andujar's bat better than Hayes. I think Hayes gives you better defense, but I think you're looking at DHing Gino if you get Gino. And I don't mind Andujar playing first if he needs to, because I think they're probably going to lean towards playing Steer and left a little bit more too. So, yeah, if you can get Gino as your full-time DH, play some first, play some third when Ke'Brien's out. You got Sal Stewart playing first, sometimes second if he needs to, sometimes third if he needs to. I like the rotation. I think I liked Gavin Lux, but I think removing him out of the lineup kind of opens up a little bit more for everybody else, and you're getting a little bit more pop in the lineup without him in there too.
Yeah, for sure. The thing about Suarez is that he doesn't fit the profile of Chris Felica / Tito / the front office.
Yeah.
And there was already comments like that as soon as that got announced, is like the Reds aren't going to really go for a guy that just hits home runs and hits 200 and strikes out. It's like, yeah, honestly, if I want to like try to analyze the situation, why it's kind of gone on so long that like Gino Suarez hasn't signed, is that I think, or at least to the Reds' luck that he hasn't signed. I think the Reds are waiting for the asking price to kind of come down, and maybe they could get him on a relatively cheap deal. I think he was projected to this offseason to get like a 3-year, $75 million type deal, which, as we know, the Reds can afford that, except for what you kind of mentioned at the top of the show, that the TV deal kind of falling through makes it harder and probably makes them less likely to pull the trigger on Suarez and in a 75 million type range. I think Andujar is the best bet to come back out of those 3. There's a reason why they declined Hayes's option, right? If they really wanted him back, they probably would have picked it up. I think it was a $12 million option. In the declining, it was like 3 or 4 or 5 million, I think, just to pay him to go away. So, and you're right, it was weird when Hayes was around. Hayes like at the beginning, or well, he got hurt right at the beginning of the season, right when he rolled his ankle or whatever. But when he came back, he kind of ignited the team a bit. He just didn't play, I guess, enough or give enough of a bounce to the team to really warrant, I guess, getting a deal to come back, right, to get his option picked up. So I think I'm with Mike. I like Andujar because he kills lefties, and for some reason, none of our big boppers, like, you know what I mean, like even Noelve Marte, right, doesn't really kill lefties. So like having him will be great to have an option off the bench as well, right? If he doesn't start, he can be a guy that comes off the bench and maybe gets a pinch hit appearance. But I don't know. I don't see Suarez. I don't see Hayes, but I would like to see Andujar back.
Yeah, I guess if I had to pick one, I would like to see Andujar back. But if I'm being greedy, I want two. I want I want Andujar and Gino. And one thing that Gino does fit the profile, he will sell tickets.
Well, you said Andahar, or you talking about Suarez?
Gino, yeah.
Yeah, Suarez. Yeah, he may justify his wages.
Because he was the reason why everybody was mad, up in arms about the trade in 2022. Was him and Winker left, and granted, I think we did okay with the return. We got Brandon Williamson out of that and Connor Phillips, so not a bad return, especially if we can get Suarez back, and we still would have Connor Phillips as a good back of the bullpen guy, and Brandon Williamson coming back and possibly being a nice rotation piece. That's couldn't ask for more than that. But I'm not getting my hopes up with Gino. Just it's a pipe dream. Just like I think a lot of people, he was their favorite player when he was here. But yeah, I mean Andujar, sneakily he didn't do bad against righties either.
Yeah. It would be nice to get 2 out of 3 of them. I don't know. There is a possibility the Reds don't bring back any of these guys, and we kind of go the route of even more bargain bin, as you like to say, Ricky, and maybe just get some guys for depth pieces in our minor league system, which has kind of been what's been going on this last couple days is signing some guys to minor league deals just to get them into spring training to see if they'll turn out to be anything. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. We're coming to the point of the year where, these rosters are going to get pretty, you know what I mean? Like, obviously free agency isn't done once spring training starts, but it's going to be interesting to see what the team looks like going into spring training in a couple weeks, because we're right coming up to the Super Bowl, and right after that is when pitchers and catchers report down south, and also the I think World Baseball Classic players. That doesn't affect the Reds, unfortunately, but that's another topic that we covered last show. We definitely want to make sure, like, I don't know, like it feels like they address some issues if we're just talking about the roster in general, but I feel like we still have unaddressed issues, the power especially, right? Like we're still kind of talking about, like, we're hoping guys are gonna come back, like McLean, like Spencer Steer will be 100% fit and ready to go hopefully this year. And I think I'm borrowing Reds Daily Greg Kuffner's phrase, is that we can't depend on hope. We got to go out there and get proven ball players instead of kind of just hoping these guys are going to come back.
Brother, we've been living on hope since 2000.
The 2010 and 2012 and 2014 teams weren't based on hope. They had
those weren't. But the hope was in 2006 when Bob Castellini bought the team.
Oh, yeah, you wrote about that article. We touched on it last show. This is his 20th year, his 20th anniversary as team owner. I don't know if that's and what 6 playoff appearances is it out of 20?
2010, 12, 13,
14,
20, and 25.
I can't count that much.
It's a good number, but it could be a whole lot better.
Well, yeah, I like to think we're in that 15-year cycle that baseball likes to do, that we're in that upswing as a baseball club. And in all honesty, the players that are like De La Cruz, Marte, Steer, McLean, they are getting closer and closer to their primes. So there is a decent expectation that they would produce more. Obviously, injuries aside, and maybe whatever else that may happen, this ball club should be better in theory than the 2025 ball club, but we can't guarantee that based on the roster construction we have at the moment, aside from the bullpen, which we'll touch on a little bit later. But yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts about potential signings for this 2026 squad?
No, I just hope they do something. Just do something.
Yeah, like that meme that you said, just
poking a person with a stick, poking the Castellini family. Just do something.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, this time last year, end of January, is when we signed Austin Hayes. So there may be a signing, and maybe an Austin Hayes type of signing. I don't know. Hopefully, maybe more. And yeah, it is almost baseball season, Mike. After the Super Bowl, no more football talk. Sorry, Cheese. You can't talk about football. It's baseball season, February 9th. And
He's just going to talk about the Packers firing LaFleur all off season.
yeah, I have, I went to school in Wisconsin, and I've got people that are Packers fans that I know, and that is not that's not what's coming out of Green Bay. That's only like Cheese, and his reasons are valid, I feel, as far as I can tell, because LaFleur kind of he's from what the Shanahan and McVay kind of coaching tree or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's got decent. I don't know. I'm not a big football guy, but he seems like he's a decent coach. But maybe he's not the one to get them over the hump, get them back to the Super Bowl. But I don't know. It's a free advertising for Football Cheese. Check that out. All Gloves Off Sports Media. Also, Mike Valentine with Lights Out podcast every Tuesday. They actually did a show today previewing the championship games that are one's being played right now at the moment, but the Rams and Seahawks and the Broncos and Patriots.
Patriots, yeah.
So shout out to them, and shout out to All Gloves Off Media. Subscribe there, like, comment, subscribe. We're doing this venture with them and Sirhan. What is his new name of his show? All Eras
Sports with Sirhan.
Yes, and also All Gloves Off Media is sponsored by Battle Bites. So we want to shout out our sponsor, Fuel Your Battle. Use the promo code All Gloves Off 10 for 10% off your order at fuelyourbattle.com, right? Not battlebites.com, fuelyourbattle.com. Battle Bites, it's a great sponsor because they also give 10% of their proceeds, their profits to the Wounded Warrior Project, which is a great cause. So shout out to them. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot of flavor choices. I think they have like six to eight different flavor choices. High protein, low carbs, no additives. Yeah, looks good.
Yeah. One other thing that of Reds news before we get into kind of the meat of the show is that the top 100 prospects by Baseball America got released, and our Red Legs got 4 guys in there, kind of the 4 guys you'd kind of expect in terms of top prospects. Although Brett Lauder is a questionable one for me because I have my. But anyway, the top 4 are the 4 guys that we got in there, and I forget the numbers. They were like Sal was in the 20th. Duno was in there in like 40 range, Steele Hall in like the 70 range, and I want to say that Rhett Lauder was like in the 80 number range. So like 4 really impactful guys for this organization. Sal and Rhett obviously will be, on this 2026 roster, more or less, unless something happens with Rhett and he has to start in AAA or whatever. Duno and Hall probably later on, 2027 and beyond. Those guys will be making an impact at the major league level, or maybe sooner for Duno if something happens where he's fast tracked, kind of like Sal Stewart was last year. A lot of people didn't think Sal was going to arrive in 2026, and he kind of caught a wave. I mean, Cam Collier's injury kind of probably paved a little bit of a path for him because he was kind of the guy ahead of him, and Sal kind of jumped over him in the rankings and in the fast tracking to the majors type of situation. But what are your thoughts on these 4 guys that got named top 100?
Yeah, it's crazy the trajectory that these guys have taken over the last few years, excluding Steele Hall. Last year, Sal Stewart debuted 84th on the top 100, and in just 1 year, he's up to 30 or no 20. Well, I forgot he lost the place. Anyway, he's in the top 20. 27th, I think, is where he's at. Duno, unranked last year, outside the top 100. He's 38th. And then Rhett Lauder slid down, but that was just because of injuries. He was the Reds' second-ranked prospect in the top 100 last year. And now he's at, I think, 84. But, yeah, I like the guys that we have on the list. Stewart, obviously, is going to come off that list pretty fast. Just he's going to play every day, hopefully. And that just means there's going to be somebody else probably added fairly soon. Probably Tyson Lewis or Cam Collier, if I had to guess. hopefully Cam Collier can play to get that top 100 spot again.
Yeah.
Steele Hall to me is intriguing just because I see a little bit of Trey Turner in him. I know the scouts at the draft day said that. Good bat speed, good bat contact speed, very fast. And he just only turns 19 in July. So I like what he could do. Hopefully, if he can project into that player that we want him to be, because that could be a top 15 to 30 prospect overall in the top 100. And Rhett Lauder, he was really good when he got called up in 24. I was actually at his debut game unknowingly. Just had tickets already, and he struggled with his command in that game, but once he didn't, he went 2-2 with the 1.17 ERA. Hardly walked anybody else really much after that game, and just he's not going to blow you away, but I think he's got better stuff than Abbott, and I think he could be a right-handed Abbott with more velocity. And if you can get Hunter Green, Lodolo, Abbott, and Rhett Lauder as your 1 through 4, whoever you slide in at number 5 is just a bonus, and that's going to be a really good rotation. We were excited about the rotation the last year.
Mhm.
Imagine Louder than Burns, and then if you need to, you can do Louder than Williamson, and then Louder, and then Singer. I mean, we still got Singer on the team too. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's going to be an elite 1 through 5, and I dare to say top 3 rotation in baseball.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to break that down when we do the starting pitching right before the season. It's probably going to be, if not the bullpen, the startest unit in this club. So that'll be amazing to see Rhett Lauder. That's the thing, is that the Rhett Lauder one is he's kind of in a, I don't know, not like prove it year like some of those bubble guys that we were talking about, but we do want to see good stuff out of the guy because obviously he's coming off an injury. If the Arizona Fall League is any indication for him, he had great Arizona Fall stuff, and numbers and appearances. They don't go deep. Like I think the most innings he ever pitched was like 4 because they're just rotating guys through. It's not. I know they made a run at the playoffs in the Arizona Fall League where Dano went off and got 3 home runs in like 2 games or something like that, or 4 home runs in 2 games or something like that. It was kind of a nice little run for the Javelinas, but if any indication of him putting in the work after a long rehab for his injury throughout the 2025 season, it hopefully bodes well for him. Like you said, we have a lot of pitching. You can't have enough good pitching is the adage they use in Cincinnati, and they've been drafting and developing guys pretty decently. So yeah, it will be awesome if we can win every single game 2-1, like they want to do.
That's
like
what Terry wants, apparently.
Yeah, he seems like a guy that, even though he's kind of calm on the outside and all shucks in the media, I think he likes to control what he can control. And if he's got great pitching, following that up with great bullpen to lock it down behind, he'll take his chances in a 1-0 game. So I don't think he really watched the 2024 Reds in their chaos ball and was kind of like, yeah, this needs to be, we need to pull something back on this. But I don't know. It's interesting to see these guys to get back to the topic, to get back to the baseball top 100. I thought Sal would be even higher up there because I think he's ranked number 1 for, I think, first baseman, I want to say, all the way down to 27. I don't know how they do the ranking. And they've seen a little bit of him at the major league level. So I thought that would give him even a bigger bump up in there, maybe in the top 10, top 15 range, maybe. I don't know. At least top 20. But
yeah,
I definitely, we need to definitely see consistent at-bats for him. And obviously there's that quote that happened with Terry that he said he doesn't want to make him a full-time DH as a 21?
21-year-old, 22-year-old.
So
understandable. I mean, I get that. It's crazy. The Reds' last 4 draft picks as pitchers, or 5 draft picks as pitchers.
Like in the last couple of years, you mean?
Yeah, over the last 10 years or whatever. Go back by pitchers.
Yeah, so Burns, Lauder,
Lodolo, Green.
Lodolo, Abbott. Are you talking about first round picks?
First rounders, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So then Lodolo is well, Williamson probably wasn't a top one. Obviously Hunter in 17 or whatever it was.
Yeah, and then the last one before that was Nick Howard in 2014. And then Nick Travieso out of high school in 2012. And then you go back to Bob Stevenson back in 2011.
Oh, yeah.
But just recently, their pitching development has been phenomenal. Burns and Louder, Lodolo and Green. That's the baseline of your rotation. You're looking at, and arguably all four could be a number one starter if they pan out to what they could be.
Mm-hmm.
And so that just gives me all the hope for our second round pick this year in Aaron Watson. So I like our development. I think Derek Johnson's just been tremendous with developing pitchers, and it's crazy, man. I just happened to think about that. I was like, who's the last 5 pitchers we've drafted in the first round? And they're all like there. Like, it just doesn't seem like it's been like that in recent history up until now.
Yeah. Yeah. And Derek Johnson's a guy that, even though David Bell got fired, he stuck around because I think he earned his keep. And even maybe if Tito leaves after his 3rd year of his contract, I think Derek Johnson's probably still going to be there. So shout out to him and his pitching coaches and development staff and whatnot in the minors, because he's director of pitching of the minors, right? Like, he's just not the pitching coach on every major league game. He goes down there and probably has a pretty clear message to what the minor league guys are supposed to do, and it seems to be working. So shout out to him.
I think as hard-headed as some people say Trevor Bauer is, he's even stated that Derek Johnson was a huge help in him getting towards the Cy Young. So, I mean, he's one of the best.
Yeah, get that man a raise. So, but yeah, shout out to the pitching staff. Definitely going to be pretty much one of the better units in there. But we do also have, I think, probably one of the better bullpens as well. So you put that together. I put in our notes that top 10 bullpen. I think I put in there before top 5, but I don't know if we're top 5 based on maybe just some other bullpen.
Better than 10th, not quite top 5, like 5, 6, or 8.
Somewhere in there, I think, is what I'm thinking. And I don't know, that the Pierce Johnson deal happened last week and kind of solidifies. I don't know exactly your thoughts on it. Then we also traded for a guy in Burke from Los Angeles, the lefty, in the Lux deal. Trade. So we can talk about that as well. Like, and then plus the guys that we already have, like Santillan, brought back Pagan. We got Connor Phillips, like you mentioned, who's coming into his own, which I'm excited to see what his 2026 looks like, because if it's anything like the end of 2025, he's going to be electric and a guy that could be pitched out there 60, 70 games, which would be awesome to see if that's the case. But what are your thoughts? So you think the Reds are like a 6th or 7th best bullpen in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, they're up there for sure. Just because, I mean, there was a stretch last year where we were one of the best bullpens, and then we had a couple bad outings. Just tough luck in the bullpen, I guess. Just a couple bad games, and you tank. But I mean, Santillan was one of the best relievers up until the All-Star break in baseball. Scott Barlow gave you everything you could have hoped for his contract. Connor Phillips at the end of the year really just shoved and showed you that he can be a really good pitcher out of the bullpen. And that Burke from Los Angeles, he's one of only like 6 left-handed pitchers that threw 100 miles per hour last year. So not that velocity is the only thing that matters, but there's going to be some heat coming out of that bullpen this year, because Santillan throws triple digits. Connor Phillips throws triple digits. Graham Ashcraft's got a 99-mile-an-hour sinker and cutter. Who am I missing? Pagan throws in the mid to high 90s. There's so many guys in that bullpen that just throw.
Oh, Luis May,
Zach Maxwell, all both throw triple digits, and I guess it's gonna be a fire bullpen. Like it's gonna be good. Hopefully they get their command right and they look the part. But yeah, I'm really excited about the bullpen. I think they could easily be top 10, if not, dare I say, top 5. But if they're top 5, they're 5th.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Here's some interesting stats I dug up on the bullpen in before this show and whatnot. So in 2025, the Reds 128 times had relievers go on 0 days rest, which led Major League Baseball. So when they made those comments talking about how they need to rebuild the bullpen, and you know how we kind of lamented that Tony Stantion's arm's going to fall off or Barlow's arm's going to fall off, it's
It
because
was hanging on by a thread.
they were throwing those guys out there every single day, and they did it so much that they led baseball in it. So getting guys like Pierce Johnson, even though I think he pitched like 70 games last year, he at least can be like that Barlow type potentially replacement. Fingers crossed, maybe. I don't know. But then also some other additions like Burke, like you said, could be that lefty. I think Sam Mole might be a AAA guy for a while until he's needed. So yeah, the Johnson trade adds a curveball to which Johnson trade?
I think it's signing.
I thought it was a free agent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but he signed for a big number too. That was kind of the talking point. That
It was like almost seven and a half. Yeah,
I think it was 6.1 year, 6.5. Anyway, he hopefully will be that Barlow type, which I think that's what Barlow was expected to make if he came back, was around there. So that's why I kind of fit him into that role. He may not be actually Scott Barlow's role. Who knows who ends up taking that spot? But anyway, also they were 14th in MLB and ERA. So there's some room for improvement. Like you said, they used to be great like at the beginning of the year, aside from, the Jabot mess up on opening day. But also they were number 4th in MLB in batting average against, hitting 228. So if they can keep that up with the guys they signed, reinforcing that bullpen, that is something we definitely need in Cincinnati, especially, Great American Small Park. If people are hitting 220 in Great American Small Park against our relievers, we'll take that every day. And then they were 6th in the MLB in holds. So they use their bullpen to make sure we lock down those games. Santillan, I think, was one of the top holds. Barlow, basically, I guess I'm starting to believe what the front office was talking about, or whatever it was at like a hot stove interview on 700 WLW, that they were talking about rebuilding the bullpen. And everyone was at that point, I think, still in the middle of the Schwarber frenzy. And we're like, what? Seriously, what? Like, we're not going to talk about getting a bat. Obviously that still lingers as a talking point, but it makes sense why they're talking about building up the bullpen again. But I think we need it. I think hopefully we'll have as strong of a bullpen, if not stronger, going into 2026. Connor Phillips is going to be in a second year of relief pitching. Same with Ashcraft. Same with Luis May and Maxwell. So I don't know. I think it could be just as good as our starting pitching in terms of being one of the better units in this ball club.
Yeah, you made me laugh when you mentioned Ian Jabot on opening day, because it reminded me. Greg tweeted this on during the national championship game for the college football. It was this.
Oh, it's the Cignetti meme.
Yeah, it says me seeing the bullpen door fly open on opening day, and Tito called on Ian Jabot to close the game.
Yeah, man.
I lost it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That Cignetti thing's good for a million years and whatever. People were using it with like me checking to see where the snow was.
Yeah, I used it. I said me checking on the pizza rolls in the microwave at 1 a.m.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. That's crazy. That is crazy. So yeah. Any thoughts on the bullpen and whatnot?
No, I like what we've done with the bullpen. I was a little worried when the Pagan signing happened that was going to be the only move, because the amount of money that they spent just shortly after the comments came from Krall about how much money they had to spend. So yeah, I mean, if that's all they had, they spent it all on Pagan and Johnson.
Yeah, that's why it was so surprising how much it was. 6.5 for Pierce Johnson. Yeah, I guess if that's the priority, it doesn't seem to be that the priority of getting a bat is going to happen, unless, like I think Mike says here, like trading one of the starters, right? I guess that's still a possibility before spring training really gets into it. Like maybe a Singer trade. Like there was all those people suspecting on X that Singer wasn't there for Reds Fest. I wonder why. And then obviously Lux ended up getting traded, so it wasn't Singer this time. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. I think the rumors about Hunter being dealt or dead and buried. Well, I don't want to try to bring it back up, obviously, with talking about it. But the way he was talking at Reds Fest, yeah. So we'll bring the temperature down. The way he was talking at Reds Fest, though, it felt like he could be a Red for life. The way he was talking. Now, will that happen? No. It'd be nice. But I don't know exactly. He is from Los Angeles, right? Or at least he's from California. So
yeah, he's from LA.
I wouldn't be surprised if, was it 2029 or was it 2030 for him?
2029. So what's going to happen is 2029, him and Ellie both are going to the Dodgers.
Yeah. At that point, what Ohtani will be like 36 or something like that, and yeah, he'll be needing some
passing of the torch.
Yeah, and what's his name? The other star. He said he's going to retire when his contract's done. Mookie Betts said that he's going to play out the string there in Los Angeles, and yeah, I'm sure he's going to be like 40 when his contract's done. So I don't know how much he'll be playing. But not a Dodgers podcast. We're just,
we always turn into another team here after a while.
Yeah, and I don't know. I thought I saw something. Maybe it was the Brody Brazil thing about potentially getting a salary cap floor. And then Carrick. Oh, speaking of Carrick, he actually was throwing out some ideas, and I can actually throw your way to see if this would be something that would be possible. We can do that later in the show, maybe for the hot take section. All right. Carrick does have a question here. Would you trade Singer or Lodolo? Maybe both. 1-year deals. By the way, 2027 is looking.
If I'm trading one right now, I'm trading Singer. But what sucks about that is Singer's going to get you like bench depth or bullpen help. Lodolo could get you a bat. So that's what sucks. But like losing Lodolo, like as much as I've said, like my hot take was the Reds trade Lodolo this offseason.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be. I don't know. If I had to trade one, I would prefer to trade Singer, but I just love Singer's consistency that he had this past season. I mean, his first year there, he leads the team in innings. So, I mean, why not roll with it? If he didn't cost so much, if he wasn't $14.5 million or whatever he is, like that wouldn't be so bad if he was like 11, but what do you do? If we had a little bit more of a bigger market, I think it wouldn't be as bad. Yeah,
for sure. And that TV deal, like you mentioned as well, just adds salt to the wound of the Reds balancing the budget, talking points, that type of rhetoric is that, in an ideal world, we don't have to trade either of those guys, and we can just go out and get our own bat if we get a nice TV deal. But the TV deals are now seeming like, well, that was the thing I heard about is that, he does?
Does he? I wasn't sure.
I thought he had a different guy.
For all we know, he switched. I don't know.
It could have. I was seeing something on sports media or whatnot that Major League Baseball is going to I forget what year, 2028, 2029, consolidate all of the like TV deals of every single, like they're going to get all the rights to, or all the they're going to package all the rights in 2029 to potentially kind of like how NBA and NFL always does, like package deals of selling off stuff like that. In 2029, they'll have all 30 clubs, I think, TV rights and be able to sell it to somebody. I don't know exactly who that buyer is going to be. I don't know who is going to be even in the market potentially in 2029 for Major League Baseball. It's going to obviously depend on how the CBA talks and end of this year in 2027 come out to see if the fans sour, or if it's still a viable product to be sold. But that's down the road. Obviously, I'm looking way, way ahead, but the Reds obviously don't have any takers. So they're going to be MLB.TV. $19.99, I believe, is what it was advertised for. Because it was like this time last year, Ricky, if you remember.
Yep.
They lost the rights, and then all of a sudden, 2 days later or 3 days later, FanDuel's like, "Oh wait, no, we changed our mind."
Just kidding.
Yeah, but like as you pointed out, they're pretty delinquent in their payments. They were delinquent to the Reds. One payment in June or in the middle of the season.
It makes you wonder, like what they said to the teams to sucker them into another another extension with them, because I mean, if you're in a relationship, I'm gonna do my best Colin Coward right here. If you're in a relationship and time again you've been lied to, and you know you're about to leave and go find that, either go on your own and do the MLB thing or whatever, and they come back and say, we'll change, and then you know they go back to it, and then 4 months later they're doing the same old crap, and you know then you're stuck. So it makes you wonder what they said, because they've been delinquent ever since, I think, since Bally became a thing with Diamond Sports. They've been delinquent almost ever since the beginning, and they sell it because they were going bankrupt to what was the new group?
Main Street Sports.
Main Street Sports. They sell it off to them. They immediately are filing bankruptcy. It's like, come on. Either, you know, did you bite off more than you could chew? Like, what's the deal here? Like, you guys are multi-billion-dollar media companies, and it's like, I don't know. I feel like the way it's going is the way it should be. Like, the Reds should own their media market. It's their fans get access to the games. There's no blackout periods. It's like, I think once you get this part figured out, and then baseball could come in and say, hey guys, here's the grand plan for this, and then you guys can still own your streaming rights, or something has to give.
Yeah, that is true. Something has to give, and we're going to find out sooner or later what's going to give. Before we even get to that media rights stuff, they got to figure out obviously the CBA stuff too. So
is there even going to be baseball?
Yeah, there might not be a product to sell. So you're right about that. And I think he's got Excel Sports. That's the only ones that we found, I think, was Ellie and Santillan, right? That have.
So Matt McLean used to have him, and then he dropped him. And I think Lodolo had him 2 years ago, and he dropped him also.
Thankfully, they probably probably also less headache for whatever situation they found themselves in, that wanted to get out of that. But I don't know. It is funny. I do think, and my take about Stevenson getting traded is kind of starting to die. I don't think that's going to happen. It's getting too close to spring training, and they have to go through arbitration. It kind of be a kick in the, you know what, if they they have to end up paying him, and then they're like, you know what, see you later. You know what I mean? Like, going through all this trouble just to ship him off. Or maybe they have to wait until the arbitration stuff is over before they can trade him. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, because I was not on the trade Ke'Bryan Hayes talk that Carrick would always say, but he kind of causes a logjam for at least our guys like Sal, Stu, and Collier, who are now battling for their first base position, I think, for the most part. But then you also got Steer. So, there's kind of a logjam there now that we kind of tied ourselves to Ke'Bryan Hayes. As much as I like Ke'Bryan Hayes' defense, his offense has to be a little bit league average, to say the least. So that will be interesting to see in 2026 what we end up doing with Ke'Bryan Hayes. That could be a trade. I mean, I don't know. How I know, Tito's old school philosophy of defense saving, right? Run saving. That kind of that shouts keep Ke'Bryan Hayes, but if he can't hit worth a dang, I don't know. I feel like that could be even more of a guy that could be traded more than Singer and Lodolo.
So funny enough, I saw somebody tweeted, I forget who it was. It might have been Reds in 4, I think, on Twitter. His bat speed spiked once he got to the Reds. So maybe there could be a change coming. I don't know. He did hit better once he got here, but he did go through a terrible hitting stretch towards the end of the season. Now, remember, his first game, he hit a home run, and that was also his first hit. So, I don't know. I think they'll keep him. I don't think you trade the prospect that you traded to get him. I mean, maybe they had a plan of getting Steele Hall, and that was just a replacement for him anyway. But yeah, it's like defense and hitting if he could just be close to a league average hitter. I know I got roasted by Pirates fans on Twitter. Welcome to the Key Brian Hayes experience, but if he could become, a 90 to 95 WRC plus, he could, you're talking perennial all-star. Like that's just with his defense alone. So
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? What's your biggest takeaway with that? Cause I just don't see them. Like I think they could move on from him. I think if they do, it would be letting him prove he can hit a little bit and then ditch.
Yeah, I think we talked about his contract too being kind of front loaded. That actually he kind of becomes cheaper as he goes on. I can't remember exactly that. I guess there's some value in that being the market that we are and having kind of a great defensive third baseman. Just to have that is kind of great. I only bring this up is because we're trying to find positions for Sal Stewart, right? Like the only reason why I think we would probably feel most comfortable if I'm in the front office or I'm Kroll or whoever. I would feel most comfortable about dealing Key Brian Hayes is like we've laid out. He's hitting, and Sal Stewart needs a position because they can't DH him all the time, or you can't wait for Spencer Steer to figure out the outfield or whatever position he ends up being, right? It seems like when they've got their guys, they're pretty loyal to him. They're pretty loyal to Ellie playing every game. They're pretty loyal to McLean playing every game. TJ Friedel, they're pretty loyal to him for the most part. I feel kind of they have that same kind of thing with probably Key Brian Hayes, unless they really have a really poor, Key Brian Hayes has a pretty poor April and May, and Sal Stewart is hitting, and they just can't find at bats for him because of that logjam or that blocking at first and third base with Steer and Hayes. That's the only thing. I think it could be a real possibility. Like I said, even more than Singer and Lodolo, I feel, because it's hard to get starting pitching in Cincinnati. It's not like we can go out and sign guys off the free agent market. We got to draft and develop them, and Lodolo is one of those guys that we drafted and developed. So I think they probably want to keep him around in Cincinnati as long as they can until he becomes too expensive.
Yeah, and what gets me is like I remember we had Clay Snowden on the first time at the beginning of the season last year. We kind of talked about drafting and developing, and we've done a really good job at developing pitchers. We've just done a really bad job at developing hitters over the past X amount of years. Take away Collier and Stewart kind of being the exception during that, and more so Stewart than Collier lately, just with how Collier's year went. Nick Senzel, Austin Hendrick, Jay Allen, Jonathan India. Like, granted, Jonathan India won Rookie of the Year, but I mean, Rookie of the Year also depends on who's getting called up. You get called up also. And I don't really remember who was all there in 2021, right? Rookie of the Year. Like if I go back, if you look at the Reds' first round draft picks for the past 10 years, you got Steele Hall this past year, as far as hitters go. And then you go back to Matt McLean in 2021. And then you had Austin Hendrick in 2020. Jay Allen was the compensatory pick in 2021, I believe, or 2020. I can't remember what year it was, but Jonathan India, Nick Senzel, Tyler Stevenson, Phillip Ervin. And then in 2010, we took Yasmani Grandal. And he was the one that we traded away to get Matt Latos along with Yonder Alonso. Like, we just done a really bad job of just getting hitters to just be the impact player that you dream of having. Like, we got lucky in 2017, right, with Hunter Green being the second overall pick. The Twins took the shortstop. I forget how. I think he was out of high school also. And had it been a different year, it's like it feels like the years the Reds don't get that number 1 overall pick, there's always like that generational talent, like 2023 or 2020, 2024, they get the number 2 overall pick, right? And they got Chase Burns.
Right.
And I don't think Travis Bazzana is going to be that generational type player, or probably not Charlie Condon either.
Mm.
I think you're looking at Nick Kurtz as the generational type player from that draft, and Jack Caglione possibly being a not generational like Hall of Fame player, but like generational like perennial 35 to 40 home runs, and something that we just can't seem to get. But yeah, it's like we just can't seem to draft the hitter that's like the transcendent hitter. We're kind of taking our chances in the international signing periods with those.
Yeah, for sure. You're right. Like of the last 6 drafts, Jonathan India might be the best hitter out of all the top picks, right? He was a first-round pick in 2018. And it's been mostly successful with the pitchers since 2017 with Hunter, right? Kind of starting out there. So it makes sense in terms of like why maybe we're having these struggles at the major league level at hitting. Kind of like it's just a matter of time that maybe we start having upward swing of drafting and developing hitters like Sal Stewart and Cam Collier possibly, and Alfredo Duno coming through. I mean, Tyson Lewis could be a fantastic hitter if he keeps progressing and continuing to improve, hopefully. But that's going to be a while from now, right? That's not going to help this 2026 ball club aside from Sal Stewart hopefully getting lots of at-bats. Just to kind of go back to the Key Bryant thing, I think they do stick with him a bit because they did give up a lot of prospects this past trade deadline, as Carrick points out. I mean, Savvy Stafora went to Pittsburgh, but in a bunch of other trades, we got rid of Adam Siranowski, Kenya Huggins, Mike Sirota, which Ethan laments every single day about the Lux trade. And now that Lux is gone, it makes it even, I guess, worse. That Mike Sirota is like a top 100 prospect in the Dodgers organization. So, yeah, I don't know. I made that comment to you that after we got rid of Siranowski and Kenya Huggins in the trade deadline that, oh, no, I don't know about our lower level pitching depth, but the Tortugas look pretty decent with their pitching depth. AAA is going to look pretty nice. At least a bunch of guys that could be major league ready. If not, they're going to hopefully pitch pretty well down there in Louisville. But I don't know. I guess that's why you have drafts to replenish. You sign some guys, and hopefully we can replenish our minor league system, which we did with some minor league deals this week as well, if you want to get into that, or if you have any other thoughts about I don't even know this tangent we're on.
Yeah, we're kind of just all over the place. Yeah, we can move on.
This is a good point by Mike. Tyler Callahan, we talked about, I think, Tyler Callahan last show or 2 shows ago. And I think my prediction was I think he might he was in the bubble player. He's kind of got to have a prove-it year for 2026 for Tyler Callahan. He's kind of the Gavin Lux type, right? Somewhat infielder and outfielder. Hits for contact, and that's exactly kind of not a lot of power like Lux. I think he gets a lot more at bats than Rhys Hines and Benson. That's my prediction in 2026. I think they like him a lot. He seems to have gotten over his broken forearm and is ready to go for spring training. So I like Tyler Callahan a lot. I think the Reds do too, and I think he'll get more at bats in 2026 for the Reds than a bunch of other guys that are kind of on the bubble.
Yeah, I like Callahan. I think he got just so unlucky with that catch and breaking his wrist. Should have been a catch, by the way. Speaking of Ethan, he tuned in on Instagram.
Oh, really?
He said Dane Myers hitting 20 home runs this season.
Yeah, that's a take. That's a take.
I don't hate it, but I don't like it either.
I don't know if he's going to play that much. He's kind of the backup to Friedel, right? Unless Friedel gets hurt, right? Like that's the only way that he kind of really breaks into this team.
Unless they go with this super platoon lineup where you got your versus left-handed pitching, you got Blade, Friedel, and Dane Myers, and then versus right-handed pitching, you got Marte, Friedel, and Hines, I guess, or Benson. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, smaller ballpark, more carry than Miami has. Less, it's still humid, but not as much humidity as Miami. And who knows, man? He might run into 15 of or 20 of them.
Yeah, he's on one of those 1-year prove it deals, so he's got to prove it basically. So
yeah, but I guess kind of going back to Callahan, I think he goes to Louisville, and he's going to have to kind of stand out during that in that lineup because there's going to be a lot of talent down there probably because I think Encarnacion Strand's going to end up down there. I think there's a chance that Will Benson's down there. Reese Hines is probably down there. I think, did I say him already?
No, yeah.
Michael Tolia is going to be down there.
Oh yeah.
Possibly Austin Hendrick up there. Like
my guy Francisco Urbaez.
Who are we missing? Catcher, PJ. Is it PJ Higgins?
Does Arroyo start down there, or does he stay on the major league?
Edwin Arroyo probably is in AAA. Like Cam Collier potentially in AAA to start the year if he has a really good spring training.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a good team.
Yeah.
I think the two best teams this year are going to be Daytona, and Louisville. I don't know how Chattanooga is going to look depending on who they get, luck of the draw. But yeah, I mean, Louisville's going to be a good team to look out for.
Yeah. Hopefully Dayton's going to be awesome because we're going to be – well, Dayton might only have a good April because Donnell might just play there for a month.
McChrystal?
McChrystal might be there just for a month, and Luke Hayden might be there for a month. Chattanooga might get good because there'll be some guys that get, called up, promoted in the middle of that. And yeah, I think I'm with Carrick here. He might be that utility spot, the Espinal, maybe the Lux spot of the roster. Even though if he starts in Louisville, that's probably actually for the best because he's kind of missed a whole year of baseball. So it'd probably be good to start him off there in AAA. And if he hits well, then yeah, bring him up. Let him play. We'll see what he ends up looking like in Louisville at the start of the year, or what it looks like in spring training too. So we'll hopefully get after it, and we'll see a fully healthy and a full season out of Tyler Callahan in 2026.
Yeah, that'd be hopefully, like I said, hopefully he comes back and just doesn't have the fear of that injury.
Yeah. There's some mental side of the game that I forget who is one of the interviews at Reds Fest is that somebody was saying it might have been Cowboy when I listened to Cowboy's interview on the Reds on the Radio section of Reds Fest. He said that all these guys are all talented. It's about between the ears, what you do and what you think and how you approach the game, and basically, learn as you go is the most important because, as we know, like some of our guys, super strong, super talented, can't hit an off-speed pitch. It's difficult. Obviously, I'm not saying that's the easiest thing to do in the world, but it's definitely how do you bounce back from that? How do you, respond to that adversity and go from there?
So it was funny. Somebody commented on like one of the Reese Hines videos I posted.
Yeah.
And they said he can't hit an off-speed pitch. And I was like, you realize his first 4 home runs in the major leagues were on slider, changeup, curveball.
That was a weird sequence in Reds baseball history.
It was all versus right-handed pitching. That's the crux of his thing. He needs to play more. If we're going to go through this platoon thing, he needs to face right-handed pitching more. Obviously, you want a right-handed batter to be better against lefties, but yeah, I mean, it was I think his first home run was on a slider. His second home run was off of a changeup. And granted, they were all in the zone, but it was just funny. He can't hit a breaking ball. It's like, yeah, you sure about that? The same thing with Ellie.
Yeah.
When I posted his top 10 furthest distant home run video, there was a lot of changeup and curveballs in there.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I do want to address this. I think he's talking about the Reds organization because I push back in so much that I think the players really care. I saw Hunter Green at
Yeah.
Reds Fest, and he really cared. I think there's a lot of these guys that their careers depend on this organization, and they may not have the money that the Dodgers have, but I think they try to go about the right way. And we've heard that directly from the players we've interviewed here. So check out those interviews. We've interviewed minor leaguers Trevor Kunsel, Ryan McChrystal, and Kian Vu. And they all talk about how the organization, even if it's a poor one, not one of the rich ones, not these Daddy Warbucks type organizations, they do definitely try to go about the right way. I mean, we see like Derek Johnson, he seems to be doing it the right way and getting the right results. But yeah, it's unfortunate that we don't have that NFL TV money
Yeah.
to bolster the organization and the payroll.
And there's one thing that all 4 of those players have agreed on is that they are huge fans of Tito.
That might be the difference, and maybe that shows that the organization cares enough to fire David Bell with a year left on his contract and hire a guy that has won two World Series with
2 World
Boston.
Series, been to 3, right?
Been to 3. I lost the one to the Cubs. I forgot about that. But yeah, and I don't know. It's difficult to. I don't know. I don't describe it because we kind of all know as Reds fans, we're not coming in with, the biggest payroll. We're not coming in with the most resources out there, but there's a lot of other baseball teams that are like that too, unfortunately. There's kind of a lot of haves and have-nots.
The Guardians have a fairly wealthy owner in Dolan, and they spend less than the Reds do. So I mean, they went up a little bit more with the new J-Ram extension. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah,
they kind of restructured his deal to give him more years and some more money, deservedly so. He took a deal to stay in Cleveland. He probably expected Tito to be there forever too. And it's like Dolan's like a top 10, I think, richest owner, but a lot of it's not cash on hand rich. And we said it in our last episode, but if there's one thing that I will give the Castellinis credit for is, he statistically is the poorest owner in baseball and continually puts out league average payroll, or just below league average payroll, between 22 to 15 ranked payroll. And I'll give him credit for that. There's not much I'll give him credit for. As some of you may know, our show was almost Sell the Team Bob instead of Red Hot Reds.
yeah.
But I will give him that, just a little bit of credit.
Yeah, it's our understanding, and we're not journalists, so we don't know exactly, but it's our understanding. It sounds like it's only Bob's money that's being used to pay these players. So like the Lindners, who I think are still minority owners as well, they're not poor. They're one of the richest Cincinnati families out there. So like, I don't know. We got to have some, like I said, this is our call to Charlie Goldsmith to go out there and investigate what's going on with the if there's any fundraising calls that Bob's putting in, or maybe he's just kind of got that pride that he doesn't want those other people's money he wants to try to run it himself, which is a thing into itself. Maybe, I don't know.
And the thing about that is, though, it's like if you're a minority owner and you have some money to put up, that just makes you richer in the end.
You think, because the return on investment is not obviously I keep bringing this up. It's not NFL levels of return on investment, but the valuation of this ball club's not going down. So whenever you cash out, you'll probably make a profit. And I'm not an expert on baseball business, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of what it goes. I know there's been some teams that tried, like the Orioles sold for a little bit less than they wanted to. The Twins are kind of in that category where like, are they or not going to sell? But I don't know. This feels like another podcast on itself where we talk about baseball business. But it all comes back around that I don't know where they're going to get that TV money, I guess is for me, unfortunately. And because the market size is what it is, they're not going to revenue share with like the TV money like they do in the NFL. So it kind of is what it is. There was a question out here, I think, from Mike that I don't know if we want to touch on. I think I saw it. Where'd it go? Oh,
Chase Petty.
Yeah, our guy Chase Petty, who I think is still untapped potential.
Yes.
In fact, he was in our top 30 prospect rankings for that matter. I think he's top 5 in there. So like, I think Ricky and I are pretty high on him, and we kind of think that maybe he came up too soon. Like, wasn't it in April, May? It came up after Carson Spires started the year as the 5th starter, I believe, and kind of got knocked around, and then went back down to Louisville and got knocked around even more. I feel like he finished the year with like 2-12 record, and not necessarily pitching his best stuff. But that may be an indication of him working on things in AAA as to why he's not, blowing guys away or whatnot. So I don't know. I'm still high on him. He's still going to probably start in AAA, I believe, and he'll be in that nasty rotation of AAA. I'll have like Williamson, Aguiar, who else in there? Jose Franco, maybe. Who else was I thinking? Maybe Rhett Lauder's down there. Who knows?
Yeah, he could be. Chase Burns could be down there too.
Could be the star. I don't know. I think Chase Burns might be that Nick Martinez role because they're going to have him innings restriction. So they might try to pitch him out of the bullpen more than they start him. It's my guess. I don't know. We'll see. But Chase Petty, what are your thoughts about him?
Yeah, like you said, I see a lot of untapped potential with him. 2023, he I actually found an old article I wrote on him back a couple years ago. He in 16 starts, he had a 1.95 ERA and 61 strikeouts and just 14 walks in 2023 to start the year. Kind of slowed down a little bit. Then he got promoted to Double-A, and then he went to Triple-A. And then when he got to Triple-A in 2024, I think he had like a sub-2 ERA, and it was like 1-1 in 3 starts or something. It was really good. Like I said, I thought he would get called up last year. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't be in April and it would be like a summer kind of thing. I think coming up early and just getting obliterated in your debut, it's got to be just awful on your self-esteem. You come up, everybody's got the confidence. You're a major league player, you are. And then you come in and you just get shelled in your debut. I think first couple batters was a home run. And then he gave up 9 runs, I think, in 2 1/3 innings. It wasn't good, and we really needed him. It was a doubleheader game. That was actually the game that Ellie played in.
Oh yeah,
because of when his sister passed away. But I think he's got the stuff to be a good major league pitcher. He's got a good fastball, good movement on his fastball. I think is it Jose Trevino said he sees a lot of Sonny Gray in him because he catches Sonny Gray in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
And if he could be Sonny Gray, I mean, Sonny Gray was borderline Cy Young votes a few years ago for the Reds. And if Derek Johnson can tap into that and get him confident, I think is the biggest issue with him. And then command. If he can get his command just a touch better, where he shows this kind of improvement and then gets better, I think you're looking at a number 3 starter 2 years from now. And then you're not afraid. Like, obviously we love Hunter Green. We want him to stay. But if you got Chase Burns developing, you got Rhett Lauder developing, you got Chase Petty developing. And we got to remember, Chase Petty's still just 23 years old. You get those 3 guys, and then Andrew Abbott still. Yep. You don't want to see it happen, but you're not it's not doom and gloom if you have to trade Hunter Green for a bat. Like, trading Hunter Green for a bat right now would just be atrocious. But 2 years from now, 2027, this season, next season, 2027 trade deadline, he's got 2 years left on his deal. Get a good return. If he goes out and wins a Cy Young, I mean, man, you look at a haul of a return. Yeah. Compared to like if you're trading him now and you're getting Jarren Duran, like I'm not satisfied with that because we all know who Hunter Green can be. And I think Hunter Green as a pitcher is better than Jarren Duran as a hitter. And like if you could get a solid player plus multiple prospects. Like the Luis Castillo type trade, where you get the team's first and second prospect from their team.
Mhm.
Like that's what I'm looking for. And if Petty can develop and Louder can be who we think he could be, Burns develops into this stud starter, Abbott just goes out and just be a consistent pitcher, and then maybe you draft somebody out of college. Maybe Ty Floyd gets healthy and
Yeah.
jumps up the prospect rankings or something. But
Aaron
I don't
Watson.
know. Aaron Watson in a few years. I mean, you're not. It's not doom and gloom if you trade him, but trading him now is not what I want. But yeah, Chase Petty, I like him a lot.
Yeah, for sure. There is it seems like Cheese also got his YouTube hacked. Is this what this is? Shout out to Cheese. Unfortunately,
4 years ago they were going to the Super Bowl this week.
That is true. Yeah, and somehow the Rams are almost right back in there. I don't know exactly the score of the game. And yeah, I guess maybe he's not hacked. I guess Mike's saying he's just trolling. I did want to say I agree with Carrick. Look at this starting pitching in Louisville. Petty, Williamson, Aguiar, Franco, Acuna. I forgot about Acuna. Cardona,
Yeah.
Ryan Cardona, and Rhett Lauder potentially. On top of the relievers they're going to have in AAA. Ben Schotter, Kunzel, May, Maxwell, Simon Miller, TJ Antone. It's going to be kind of crazy in AAA. They might make a run at the playoffs down there in the Southern League unless a bunch of these guys make it up to the major league roster, right? But you were talking about how good the hitting is going to be on the AAA side. Pitching is just as good, I'd say.
Yeah, they could be a really good team.
Yeah. Update from Cheese. I guess he isn't hacked. Seahawks are up. All right. I like the Seahawks. They got
Worried about you, Cheese. Keep getting crypto tweets from you.
yeah. Hopefully, Elon fixes that for you. We'll see. But anyway, yeah. Any other thoughts about Chase Petty or any other guys?
No, I just like I said, if he develops, you're not terrified of a future without Hunter Green.
We did have some minor league depth moves as well. A guy named Shane Sasaki, Davis Daniel, Miskowitz, and Junior Marte were signed this week. Just kind of depth pieces. I don't know how much you want to go into this, Ricky, but just guys that they're taking a chance and putting them in there right before spring training. I will have you know, before, like around this time last year, before spring training, a bunch of guys like those guys got signed. Like Austin Wynns got a non-roster invitee to spring training. Miles Smith, Aaron Wilkerson, PJ Higgins got there, and basically Alex Young, I think, was roster. Like a bunch of guys that no longer are with the club, aside from who did I mention? Austin Wynns. He's no longer with us, unfortunately, but he had a good run. Well, I was just saying, are the guys that I mentioned, like Sasaki and Miskowitz, are those guys they're going to catch on with the Reds, or is this kind of going to be like a situation where we might not even hear their names anymore after, mid-March?
I kind of like Junior Marte's profile. He's got a really good fastball. He struggled over here in the States, but he pitched in Japan last year and had like a sub 2 ERA. It might have been sub 1
really
ERA. It was really good ERA. Walks kind of get him a lot. It didn't in Japan, but I don't think Japan, they're usually making contact over there. I don't know. I kind of like. I have that feeling about him of like Scott Barlow, not comparing the player, but just comparing the late addition of a signing. But Sasaki, he's a younger hitter. Am I right? I don't know a whole lot about him.
That was the most recent one. He actually has a decent minor league history. I want to say he hit like 270 in the minors overall in his time, and like 40 doubles or something like that. So he's got some experience to him. He's
like
not
a Ryan Valade type.
Yeah, no longer with the ball club, Ryan Valade. So yeah, maybe that kind of situation where he may get that roster invitee, and maybe he sticks around for the AAA club where he's right there to potentially be called up, or maybe he'll get DFA'd right out of spring training. Who knows? But yeah, that's kind of my feeling, was that it was not really, none of these guys really light the world on fire in terms of depth pieces. But it's that time of year, man. We're gonna have to start learning some names going into spring training, because some may catch on, some may not. You know what I mean? Like Austin Wynns got invited last year at this time, and he ended up catching on, having a great April.
Put up like a plus 200 WRC plus for the Reds.
Yeah, just like a classic, just hot streak that the Reds love doing. The Aquino type stuff, the Reese Hines type stuff. Just these guys that are like firecrackers going off, and then they burn out quickly. So I don't know. There were just some other ones. Here's a trade proposal for you. Hunter Green to the Astros in 2028. Cam Smith and prospects. I'm not too familiar with Cam Smith, but if he's pretty good, does he hit line drives? I guess that's what we got to know.
Well, for all we know, Kroll might not be in charge in 2028. So let's see what happens for it. Bob might not even own the team in 2028 for all we know.
That is pretty far off. But yeah, I don't know if I want to help the Astros either. They're all right. Yeah, she says he's a pretty good prospect. So shout out to Cam Smith. Hopefully, maybe one day, but I don't know.
That was me pounding my trash can.
Yeah, I see.
Fastball.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
or we got to do the Altuve. Oh no, it's a bad tattoo. Don't look at it. Don't look at my tattoo.
Yeah.
Come on, get out.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a piece of metal, Ricky. It's just a piece of metal.
Don't even. Yeah. You know how bad the city of Cincinnati wants that piece of metal.
Yeah, they're not the only ones. Like, yeah, I mean, they still every single year the sad Pirates fans listen to the last out of the 76 World Series or whatever.
I would rather see the Pirates win the World Series in 2026 than the flipping Dodgers.
I think there's a lot of people that be in that camp, majority of the country, but that ain't going to happen as much as we'd like it to. So
I would love to see an NLCS of the Rockies and Pirates in 2026.
Hey man, Rocktober wasn't that far long ago.
Rocktober, man, that was awesome. Yeah,
2007.
Matt Holliday.
Yeah.
Was Larry Walker on that team? Todd Helton.
Probably, yeah. 2007 is a long time.
And then you had the 2010 team. You had Carlos Gonzalez, Troy Tulowitzki, like Ubaldo Jimenez. Like that was a good team. Yep. And that 2010 MVP race came down to was it Votto, Cargo, and Pujols, I believe.
Probably. That sounds right. That's a lot. Carrick is saying that Dodgers winning would ensure a lockout.
Yeah, especially with all the players they signed this year too.
Yeah, that might happen anyway, but we'll see. We'll see about that. Just to get back on track, Ricky, you wrote an article about the non-roster invitees. Some interesting names on there. Our guy Cam Collier is on that list. Connor Burns, a catcher. Michael Troutwine, another catcher. Junior Marte, a guy you just talked about. Miskowitz and PJ Higgins. Oh, there's a guy that's still around. PJ Higgins. So, any of these guys that stand out, they're kind of cool. It's cool to see Cam Collier being invited because of the rough year he had and trying to get back to it in the Arizona Fall League as well. So it's been kind of a little bit of a journey for him, and hopefully he can keep building on that. But any thoughts on these guys?
Yeah, I think it could be said that I'm a huge Cam Collier fan. I'll just keep saying it. He's my pick to have a Sal Stewart type run this year, where he probably starts out. He could start out in Double-A, go to Triple-A, get hot, get promoted up in September. I kind of already went through my spiel on Junior Marte. I think he could potentially sniff some playing time on the Reds this year. For all we know, he'll get cut week 1 of spring training. But I like some of the moves we're making, the smaller moves. A lot of catchers on that list, which is what has me worried about Stevenson. We got Connor Burns, and I did see, I think it was Nick Kirby talking about him, that the Reds value Connor Burns. He's like, I think, the best defensive catcher in the farm system, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And the Reds value defense, and he was picked in 2023, so he might not be too far away from actually making the big league roster if he was to do what he could, do what he should do to get there.
Yeah.
Not a very good hitter. He's got 23 home runs, a 616 OPS over his 3 minor league seasons. And he finished last year in Double-A. Trotwine, he's got some pop, I believe. He's got I had it on here. Or no, not Trotwine. No, Burns, he's got some pop. He's got 23 home runs, but he's only got a 616 OPS in that time.
Okay.
Trotwine, not as good as a hitter also. He's got a 205 average, 3 home runs, and 762 OPS in his 5 years. So, yeah, it's Burns is very good defensively also. So I think that they're going to value that. And oh, there you go. A character said it. He was voted the best defensive catcher in the whole minor leagues, which is just says something. You know, they really value that. And, you know, I wouldn't put it past, you know, because catching is a position you can get away with not having a good hitter. If you have a really good defensive I mean, look at Tucker Barnhart for all them years winning Gold Gloves. Yeah, I mean, if you could go out and put up Gold Glove defense, you can kind of live. I mean, obviously you don't want to have that at every position, but you would prefer third base not be that position where you do that at. But you know, if you have a good defensive catcher, then he's good with the pitching staff, and you know, let's just say he's the bridge between Stevenson to Duno, and Duno being your next quote unquote Johnny Bench, where he's going to put up home runs and average and everything else. It's got to, you know, just thinking about this, it's got to be tough to be a Reds catcher, to live up to the hype of you're either going to be Tucker Barnhart or Johnny Bench.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is tough, especially because Bench is not just he's just a legend in the catching game. Like he's hands down, I think every year voted the best catcher of all time, or at least right up there with maybe Pudge or somebody like that. But yeah, I was talking to Carrick about this actually, and I don't know if I'm too worried about Stevenson. They seem to bring in a lot of catchers for spring training because there's so many pitchers that are got to get a workout in, and also I think it's kind of a learning experience for young Connor Burns because he's got to learn these guys if he's going to be catching them, especially if he, you know, he's in Chattanooga. I don't know where he starts out, if he starts in Chattanooga as well, or if he goes up to AAA with. Well, no, they got Banfield there, right? So it's Banfield, Troutwine in AAA, I believe. So he'll probably start at AA Chattanooga, but he's got to learn these guys if he's going to get called up sooner than later. So it'll be definitely a good learning experience for him. Hopefully he'll be able to work with these guys. I mean, obviously last year we got a lot of Trevino quotes about the pitching staff and whatnot and working them all that. So it'd be cool to see exactly what the pitching staff and coaching staff thinks of Connor Burns and our guy Ryan McChrystal when he gets there as well for spring training. Hopefully his non-roster invitee is coming soon. Hopefully he's not lost in the mail or anything like that. So we'll hopefully hear that maybe this week.
Send him a DM. Hey man, what do you got for us?
Yeah, he might not know. That's the thing, right? Who said that? I think Kean Vu said that like we might be the first to know if he gets promoted or whatever.
Yeah.
They'll give you a heads up. Like, all right, whatever. That's cool. I mean, maybe an element of surprise, but yeah, I would be surprised this week we hear a little bit more about the non-roster invitees because it's just getting closer and closer. It's 2 weeks from now, right? More or less. So we'll see. I guess maybe we'll send him a DM. Congratulations, hopefully coming soon. So.
Yeah. And I was just thinking too, he could be a potential top 30 prospect also with the season that he had last year. I'm interested. That should be coming out here pretty soon to see what the MLB pipeline should be because we have our top 30. I think he was right at that cusp of 30. I think we had Kunzel at 30, right? And then he was like 28 or something.
Yeah, we got Kunzel 29. I think we put Ty Floyd 30.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's right there. We'll see. And we'll have an updated one sometime in the middle of 2026 as well. Once these guys kind of get a little bit of baseball under their legs and whatnot, and see what they're all about. Any other thoughts or comments about non-roster invitees to spring training?
No, just I'm really excited to see a healthy Cam Collier this year. Hopefully he can remain healthy.
For sure. We all want that. I got some winter ball update. A bunch of winter balls, like basically is about to end. We got Drew Davies and the Adelaide Giants beat our Sydney Blue Sox in the ABL championships yesterday or this morning, probably last night for them. And it was kind of an upset.
Tomorrow for them, last night for us.
Whatever, sometime in the past for them, future for us. But
Yeah.
we thought the Blue Sox, they were like well ahead of everybody in the standings, but Adelaide was right there, right behind them, and got into a series with them and won the series. So shout out Drew Davies and his teammates there for winning the ABL championships. That's good because then now our guys can come over with Drew to spring training possibly in the next couple weeks. Game 3 of the Dominican final series, their series is going to be tonight. They had a couple games rained out over the weekend, so this would have been supposed to be game 6, but they're now playing game 3 tonight. It's probably being played right now. I'm sure maybe Carrick's somebody to update us on what's going on there. And then the Tomateros, the team that Ichiro Kano plays for, is in the finals, but they're down 0-3 or something like that. They're about to get swept. So Ichiro Kano had a pretty decent season for the Mexican Pacific League. He played a lot more than Yael Romero for sure, and he got his chance to get some game-winning hits and Player of the Weeks for the Mexican Pacific League. So shout out to Ichiro Kano for having a decent winter ball this past winter. So hopefully we can see him maybe as a non-roster invitee, or at least we'll see him down there in Dayton or Daytona, possibly working on his craft to get up to Dayton at one point. But yeah, that's all I got for the winter ball. And there were some really good defensive highlights. I forgot to I think I sent it to you. It was on X. Hansel and our guy Pablo Nunez. My goodness, if they can hit at the next level, whatever level they end up being at, they're going to be great because their defense is off the charts. Like they seem to have a great sense of playing the game defensively, from what I could tell.
Yeah, I don't know if the play that Pablo had. We'll post it. I think you posted it on X today. I think I reshared it on Instagram. It was a bases loaded.
Yeah, first runner, bases loaded.
Yeah, bases loaded. Line drive to center field. Nunez makes the smart play, goes to third base instead of trying to go home. Gets the guy out at third before the runner crosses home plate, and they get they avoid the run scoring. And then I didn't see the Jimenez play, but there's been so many plays this year he's made. Like I've said it time and time again. I see a lot of Brandon Phillips in him, just quick on his feet, good glove, good throw. There's a couple double plays he's made where he's been the thrower on the throwing end of them and right on target. And I love Ellie De La Cruz to death, but you never know where the ball's going once he throws it to first base. And it gives you a lot of hope that, once we do move on from Ellie, which sad to say we will have to, we got some guys coming up behind him at shortstop that can stick around and play really good defense, starting with Edwin Arroyo and going down. But yeah, I had some stats on Pablo Nunez, just his season in the Australian Baseball League.
For sure.
He had a 331 average, an 820 OPS, a 446 on base. He struck out 19 times, walked 27 times, had a triple, 4 doubles, 46 hits total. I think he was like third in the league in hits. Just a great player. He's going to be someone to really keep an eye. We keep saying it on Twitter, but deservingly, he should be a top 30 prospect for the Reds this year. Yeah, he's looking the part for sure. I've got an update from Carrick. Hector's 1 for 4 with a strikeout. His team lost, so I think they're down 1-2 or down 2-1 on the series for that. I believe it's a 7-game series for them. For some reason, the ABL was only a 3-game series, so you can go a lot of different ways in 3 games. In terms of you can get hot and win the first 2, and then you got the whole series. But shout out to Hector. He had a great game 1 where he went 3 for 4, I think, with 2 runs scored. So
in a double. So he's I think he's ready to go. And we even talk about Hector this show. He's another guy
Yeah.
that could be, we're talking about hitters. We got him in a trade. I forget which one was it. Is the shoot. They got him real young. They were just talking about, I think it was a Charlie Goldsmith article that I was reading, that they got him in a trade, and he's been developing. I mean, they didn't draft him, but if we could trade for some young prospects, possibly, that might be the way to go about it, since we haven't had tremendous success in drafting and developing hitters. So
Yeah, we traded Tyler Naquin to get Hector Rodriguez.
that was it. Yeah. Tyler Naquin, an outfielder now? Or is
He's pitching, I think.
Okay, he did the opposite. He went from fielding to pitching.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So we
great.
got, in that trade, we got Jose Acuna and Hector Rodriguez.
That's a good trade. So, yeah, I'd be open to the Reds if they can trade for some young prospect hitters. That may be the way to go to get potentially a Hector Rodriguez. Yeah, Chao Carrick and Jose Acuna. Yeah, so that's great. That's a great trade. It works out well because I don't know, Tyler Naquin hasn't really lit the world on fire since he left the Reds. So
yeah, we kind of got lucky with. I mean, was it the Mahle trade where we got CES?
I believe so. Yeah,
to Steer.
I'll look this up on
because there was 2 trades with the Twins, right? Am I thinking something wrong?
Well, yeah, didn't we ship Kyle Farmer? Or am I thinking of something else?
Man, this is great TV here.
Yeah.
So the Taylor Mahle was traded to the Twins for Spencer Steer, CES, and Stephen Hajar, who ended up being traded to get Will Benson, I believe. And then Sonny Gray was traded to the Twins for Chase Petty. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. All right. Well, again, yeah, I don't know. Tyler Mahle, where'd he end up? He ended up somewhere like Los Angeles Angels or something like that recently.
Yeah, he just signed with somebody.
So, again, sometimes sending these guys off different directions, you might get something back that may prove out to be that you guys and that we end up winning the trade at the end when it's all said and done. So, but yeah, I don't know if you got any other talking points, but I've got some things for you. I sent you that one graphic about the Hall of Famers, and I don't know if you want to pull that up or you want to look at it. I found it very interesting. It actually had our guy Ellie De La Cruz on there as well. So
give me 1 second, and I'll pull it up on the screen.
Yeah, no problem. I'll describe it. It was a graphic by, I think, a betting company. Tyler Mahle's with the Giants. That's where he signed. So BetMGM or something like that put out a tier of current players, I believe, and if they think that they're like a lock first ballot Hall of Famer, a maybe Hall of Famer, looking on the outside in, borderline, and then the young stars on their way. And I found this list interesting for many reasons, mainly because 2 guys that we were talking about this pre-show, Ricky, 2 guys they even put on the list. They have Bryce Harper nowhere to be found, I believe. And then they also left off our guy, the Venezuelan catcher, Perez out of Kansas City. So not sure what they're doing there. Maybe they just forgot, or maybe they're just trying to make all the Kansas City Royal fans and the Bryce Harper fans in Philadelphia really, really upset. But what are your first takeaways of this list?
Yeah, I think a lot of Reds fans need to shut up when they talk about how bad Ellie is, because obviously everybody outside of like the dumb fans and the fan base think that Ellie's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. And what I guess what's crazier to me is, how is Bryce Harper not on this list? I guess I don't know. You have the probably in but borderline. You got Giancarlo Stanton over Bryce Harper.
Yeah, I think it might just be, I don't know.
Yankee bias.
I don't want to make excuses, but they probably just forgot, and they probably don't value the catcher Perez as much. But I don't know.
There's not a small market players on this list either. I guess if you were to Paul Skeens, who's eventually going to be a Dodger, Ellie eventually going to be a Dodger or a Met or something. Julio Rodriguez, I guess, but they just kind of signed him and extended him early.
Yeah.
Same with Corbin Carroll. Did he get an extension, Corbin Carroll?
I didn't see it. Don't believe so.
But everybody else on this list is you got Trout, Angels, Verlander, Giants, Scherzer, Blue Jays, Betts, Dodgers, Ohtani, Dodgers, Judge, Yankees. Jose Ramirez being a Cleveland Guardian, I guess, is like the one few small market. Chris Sale, but Chris Sale was a White Sox for the majority of his career.
Yeah.
Lindor and Soto, Arenado being primarily a Rocky is who I think of him as. I think if he gets in the Hall of Fame, he should be a Rocky, right?
That's a good question. I don't know. He spent probably an equal amount of years in both, but he probably had his best years, you're right, in Colorado.
Kenley Jansen was a Dodger for a while, right?
Yeah, I think of Kenley Jansen as an Angel, though. For that's the weird thing.
Yeah.
And that's where he is now, I think, even.
Altuve, Houston, kind of a smaller market. Freeman being a Brave, but being famous in the Dodgers. McCutchen being a Pirate's kind of like that exception because he was a Pirate the 90% of his career.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole, the moment he could leave Pittsburgh, he did. Chapman, former Red. It's sad because you would think just Chapman's career-wise, like, oh, maybe he gets in as a Red as a Hall of Fame. Like, no, it was really good for the Cubs for getting them to the World Series.
Yeah,
he gets a World Series with the Rangers.
Yeah.
DeGrom, you probably think of him as a Met, I would think. Stanton, Yankee, even though he had his best years with the Marlins.
Yeah, Marlin cap.
Yeah.
Give him the Marlin cap. No, I'm just kidding.
Blake Snell, Manny Machado. Machado's kind of the one where you're like, okay, I can see him getting in as a Padre, but his Baltimore years were really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy that I mean, like you said, they probably just ran out of room, but I would think I'd probably have Bryce Harper on there over Arenado.
Yeah.
Or something. Just number one overall pick, the career he's had.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe that's just more fuel for him to have a good year this year.
Yeah. Aside from the cheating scandals and not liking the Astros, I think Altuve is a lock. I don't know if he's first ballot. He may be second ballot, but he's right there, I think, because doesn't he have also Gold Gloves as his name, or is that, am I thinking of somebody else? But like, he's won a bunch of World Series, and he's been not the best, but one of the best players on that team. So I don't know. I feel like he's probably higher up there. I have him even more than Freeman.
Yeah, he's a MVP, 9-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champ. Well, 1.5.
Yeah, but like also just being one of the smallest guys in baseball too, to kind of like, I don't know if that's even a factor. Obviously, I don't know, baseball writers may or may not quibble with that, but that just kind of overcoming that kind of thing. I don't know. Also, I got DeGrom. I don't know if he's put enough in. He feels like his injuries have made him just not as, I don't know. It's quibbling. Obviously, it could go a lot of different ways.
DeGrom's more like stuff.
Yeah.
Like how many seasons has he missed? And plus, he came up late. He was an older promotion, I believe, and like we're probably never going to see another 300 game winning pitcher. We're probably never going to see that again. No. And maybe that's just part of like just accepting that when we look at pitchers' wins and losses over their career when they get into the Hall of Fame in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I'm gonna name some stats and tell me if you think Hall of Famer.
Ooh, okay.
303 home runs, 1,712 hits, 264 batting average, 35.5 WAR.
I don't think so. That's low.
9-time All-Star, World Series champ, 5-time Gold Glove.
Who is it?
Salvador Perez.
Oh, that's why he's not on the list. So he's got 35 WAR? I thought it'd be higher than that. I feel like the cutoff is like 55, 60. is where you get into the range of like probably, but maybe not the first ballot. I don't know. That seems low. I guess we overvalue Salvador Perez a bit. If he's only got 1,000 hits.
Yeah, 1,600. Yeah,
or 1,600. Okay, dang.
I got another one for you.
Okay.
2-time MVP, 8-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, 54 WAR, 363 home runs, 1,800 hits, 280 batting average.
Yeah, I think so. And
Bryce Harper.
Yeah, and he's not even on this list. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know if he's first ballot. He might be in that Arenado category, or Jose Ramirez, or Soto hasn't played enough, but he could be a first ballot in a couple of years if he amasses the numbers. Plays long enough. It's certainly his contract goes long enough. So
the last one I'll do here. 47.9 WAR, 96 wins, 2.57 ERA, 2-time Cy Young, 5-time All-Star.
That's tough. You said no World Series?
No World Series. And this is over 12 years.
This might be borderline. This might be in that category, probably, but borderline.
There you go. It's Jacob deGrom.
Yeah. Yeah, DeGrom has just not played long enough or pitched long enough with all those injuries. I think that's unfortunately the baseball is a hall. If there's anything the Hall of Fame rewards, it's longevity. Like guys that have played long enough, because this game is hard to play. So like it is kind of a reward to be like, yeah, man, you battled 16 years playing this sport that's a failure rate of 70% or more every single time you come to the plate. So. I don't know. It's not like the NFL where like when you see it, like Bo Jackson, right? Didn't play long, but you're like,
that guy's got it.
He's got a Hall of Fame look, if you will.
So
as Cheese would say, he passes the eye test.
Yeah, for sure. DeGrom came up at 25, almost 26 years old.
Wow, that is late. So yeah, Jace Petty's got lots of time. He can figure it out in AAA. I think he'll be great. Whoa. This is Mike. Mike have his own account now? What if we trade Aguirre to the Phillies and then split $20 million of Castellanos? Maybe. I don't know. Castellanos seems to be close to the end. He probably have a worse batting average than Gino.
And he doesn't have the defense that the Reds want either.
Yeah. It'd be nice.
Unless you DH him or play first base. He has said he wants to play first base.
Does he really? I don't know. They were getting more of a logjam at first base. I don't think we want that. I
had an interesting quote from him in one of my last articles. Let me find that. It was when it was on the Castellini article I wrote. It was let's see. It is when they didn't offer him a contract in 2021. After he left to go to the Phillies in free agency. He said, quote, God, where is this at? It's just a classic example of ownership using organizations as profit. When there are no consequences for losing and you're not held accountable for your performance, what sucks is in a great city like Cincinnati where the fan base is impeccable, it's suffocating because of ownership, I'm not saying that they're bad people. The system is bad.
He's not coming back. He's not coming back. He's like, he keeps it too real. Remember that? Dave Chappelle sketch, when keeping it too real goes wrong. It might be him in terms of like being too honest to the media. And he said other things before as well. So they said, well, could they afford you? He's like, how can you not afford me if you don't even make me an offer? Like, how do you not know? Because it makes me think that he probably would have came back if it would have been close. Because I mean, like, they embraced his kid, like the whole city did. I remember, like, his kid made a drawing and they made a Cincy T-shirt out of it. Ha! Yeah.
And then, like, another one too is like everyone wanted Michael Arinzenek a couple years ago at the trade deadline. I don't think he wants to come back either.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm held accountable to be the best I can be. Otherwise, I'm sent down or released." there should be something for teams too. The standard should be the best in the world, not be the best of the worst.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I had some interesting quotes for coming up with this Bob Castellini article. Yeah,
well, that reunion's not happening. That's all I could take away from that, I guess. Unless Bob's not the owner or something like that. And yeah, Sal and Steer should be first base and DH. Yeah, what's his name? Steer's old enough to not, if playing DH for Steer is not the worst thing. I know he got that Gold Glove nomination at first last year, but we all, at least here, and Ricky, you're a truther on Steer's learning first base. Well, back in April, there was a bunch of people coming after you.
Yeah, I probably got the screenshot of the play too. I got called out because and granted, Marte was atrocious this year at third base. And that's why they moved him to the outfield. But there was a play. It was in the Baltimore series where, and what was it? It was a ground ball to third base. Marte throws it. Steer doesn't scoop it. And I was just like, you as a first baseman, you have to scoop that. And I got called out. As a former first baseman, blah 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 blah. I'm like, dude, I've seen Pete Alonso scoop that ball 100 times. I've seen Votto scoop that ball 1,000 times. Name a first baseman. And he said, well, it hit the blade of the grass, and that's what it gave it a bad bounce. And I was like, I took a screenshot of the ball. He just whiffed at it. And I was like, no, man, he just missed it. And later on in the season, the stats backed me up that he was ranked statistically the worst first baseman in the National League as far as scooping. Everything else he was elite at. It was just scooping where if he could pick up the scooping, he'd be a very good first baseman. But then again, do you want Steer's offense to be your first base? We're just getting back into that trap. Yeah, he hits some home runs, but hitting 21 home runs, being your second on the team in home runs, it's not ideal. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna if you have a corner infield of Steer and Ke'Bryan Hayes, it's kind of scary. But
yeah, and Carrick.
I'd rather see Ke'Bryan Hayes and Stewart, or trades happen. You put Stewart at third, and you put Suarez at first.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, Steer should be backup second base, first base, and DH. Carrick says, not much.
I like Steer at second base, and he loves second base too. And I think that's his best position. Honestly, it just sucks because you got McClain, who's better defensively at second base. But I honestly, I don't mind Steer in left field. I don't hate it. He looked good once he figured it out. It was a learning curve for sure. Yeah. He's got an arm, and
I think it's more of the running. I think it's more of running into the wall and getting hurt.
Yeah. Thing. But people want Ellie out there in center field.
Well, I think that's quieted down. I think that we finally have moved on from that in terms of because
he makes one error in the first week of the season, and people are going to start shouting it.
Everyone's going to do something when he makes his first error because he's held a higher standard, basically than most athletes that are 24 years old in this. Aside from maybe Joe Burrow, he's probably got the most scrutiny on him in this city. I
like this sequence of comments.
What happened?
Here's your everyday left fielder. We don't have one.
TBD.
That's so accurate.
To be named later. A player to be named later.
TBD.
Dane Myers is our starting left fielder.
JJ Bleday.
Yeah.
Anybody but Reese Hines and Will Benson. Gosh.
Yeah. Michael Tolia, does he play outfield? Anyway. Yeah. All right. I don't know if you got anything else on those comments for another tangent, but any hot takes you got, Ricky, this time around, or anything get off your chest? Any articles you got coming our way from Reds at SI?
I'm just worried about the Stevenson stuff going on. Just to go to arbitration over a couple $100,000 seems more like maybe I'm just reading more into it than I should be. Like, I know I've seen like Greg talk about it. Like, why would you trade away your best offensive catcher to have, Jose Trevino be your everyday catcher and potentially a Connor Burns or Rordfeld or whatever his name is,
Yeah.
Banfield. But then I'm like, we traded away prospects for the worst hitter in baseball because he's the best defensive player at third base. Would it surprise you if they traded away the best offensive player at the catching position to have the better defensive player at catcher to have the future ready for Duno to take over in a couple years?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. It's tough. It's tough. It's kind of weird. Yeah, the Rordfeld of it all. If he wasn't added, I think we're doing 2025 again, just having Trevino and Stevenson, right? And then
Yeah.
maybe Banfield if needed, right? Like he came up for a cup of tea last year as well. But like, I don't know. Is Austin Wynn still out there? Is he's looking for a team or no? He got a contract right with the A's, I believe. Or am I?
I think so. Let me see if I can.
It's probably a 1-year deal, if anything. But yeah, it's difficult. And you're right. I think I hear Reds Daily Greg in my head saying like, if you trade Stevenson, where are you going to get his bat production, right? Because he's not terrible at the plate, but he's not been there consistently enough with his health to, I don't know, in my view, to warrant like a situation where they keep him. But we'll see how the arbitration plays out. It may get ugly. I don't know if he'll have any hurt feelings from it if he loses the case, but like you said, it's 200,000 or so. So I don't know. It is interesting. Isn't your guy Ashcraft as well is going to arbitration? Is it later this week or is it beginning of next week?
It's very soon.
Yeah,
it's very soon.
We'll cover it. Obviously, it'll probably make some news this week or next week or whatever it is. So that'll be good to hopefully break down positively. Maybe he just wins his money because he's trying to get as much as he can before he's unrestricted free agent next year.
Yeah, it makes you wonder now, like obviously that it goes to ARB, right? Like I don't think the Reds can just say, all right, we're gonna go with your number. Like now are they going to go to I'm not like exactly sure how arbitration works exactly.
So there's a third party that hears the case. It's like somewhat of a court case. They have representation for Stevenson, or he could be there as well with his representation in this. They basically go back and forth arguing their case on, no, he should be worth this because, the Reds will come out. Why it gets ugly is because the Reds organization will have a representative that will say, no, he's not worth this money because of all these games he missed, all these times he got out, all this, you know what I mean? Like he'll go through a laundry list and to characterize him as like, no, he doesn't deserve this money.
Right.
While Stevenson's representatives will make the case that, yeah, he should be making this money, things like that. Why I say it could get ugly is because if a player is in there to hear it, it might hurt his feelings just to hear how badly the organization thinks of him. It's not really how they think. They're just trying to save money by saying some of the, nastiest stuff or mean stuff they can about him as a player. Yeah. But then the arbiter will rule, okay, actually, you know what? After I heard the arguments, Stevenson, you should get the 6.4 or whatever it is million.
Yeah.
Or
I just didn't know if the numbers that they submitted are the final numbers that they choose from, because it seems like the obvious choice would be that they're going to rule with Stevenson just being a couple $100,000 over what the Reds offered. Like I don't see them saying, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, Stevenson was pretty healthy last year, minus starting the season on the IL, and he was the best offensive option they had at catcher, other than the week of Austin Wynns.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's 28. Last year of arbitration, like that's what I think that a trade could happen, but I just none of it makes sense. And like Mike says, Stevenson is going to be another player like Lorenzen and Castellano who just can't wait to leave Cincinnati.
Yeah, it is funny. He might be just upset that it's even going to arbitration. Like pay me what I'm worth and let's keep it moving. But the Reds want to fight over it, and he wants to fight over it. So that's what's going to happen. So, yeah.
Why would you insult your own player for $200,000? Yeah, I mean That was my point. I just didn't know if they could submit like new numbers, and then Stevenson comes in with like 8. It's like, well, actually, I want more.
Oh yeah, I think it's the arbiter picks whose side he feels.
Yeah, I think
wins.
obviously it's going to go to Stevenson on this end.
Yeah, like I said, the weird thing that could happen, and it happened in I think 2018 with Gino. Yeah, he went to arbitration with the Reds, and then lost his case to the Reds, and then ended up getting an extension right after that. I don't know if that's Stevenson's path. It'd be very interesting if it is, because we've all been kind of wondering if Stevenson's going to get extended, at least as a fan base. But nothing's really been floated out there. No leaks. Nothing on Stevenson's behalf has really been talked about. So I don't think that's going to happen because, like you said, he's 28, catcher, a lot of wear and tear with the injuries he's had. I think it's like what Mike's saying. He's going to get out of Dodge. He might go to Philadelphia like Castellanos, So we'll see.
Yeah, I haven't seen any news for anything on Tyler Stevenson. I think the last I ever saw of it, Charlie Goldsmith had tweeted like, yeah, there are no talks of an extension.
Yeah, I think we talked about this last show. I think the Reds are afraid of extending the wrong guy. I mean, they obviously have some examples of that in the pitching category with Homer Bailey over Cueto, right? But I think they're afraid that if they pick McLean to extend, because he's non-Boris division of clients, and he's a guy that you would want to lock in early so he doesn't become an even more expensive player. I think they're just afraid that if they pick like a McLean and then he just keeps getting hurt, now they're locked into paying a guy that isn't on the field. You pick any other guy, you know what I mean? Like, even like a Ellie De La Cruz. Obviously, they tried, but they can't afford him.
Right. But who's to say you extend him and then all of a sudden the injuries happen? Who would have thought trading for Ken Griffey Jr. you would only get basically 3 full seasons out of him?
I don't know. That's a good question. And then Carrick puts in that they think they're going to strike a deal before they even get to the arbiter. We'll see. That was probably hoping happen this week, if anything, right? Because it's coming up soon.
There it is, the rematch.
It was going to be a rematch anyway, right? Because the Rams played the Patriots 6-7 years ago as well. So it's like 6-7 years ago. Yeah, I was trying not to be too obvious, but I was
kids, man. I tell you.
Yeah,
I can't even say the number 6 without them screaming it.
I know. I thought it's been dying off, to be honest with you.
No, they're
it's back on.
They're on it, man.
All right, well that's good to know.
Well, they're also like 4-7, 4-8. So
yeah. Well, I thought the trend was dying because I'm hearing less and less of it, but it could be reinvigorated. It might have died.
I think it's more amongst like the younger kids, not so much like the middle school kids anymore.
Yeah, sure.
They moved on to a new fad. They're more 8-9.
Yeah.
Our generation was 69. It's funny.
Yeah. Wait till they learn about that.
Kid show.
Yeah, I try to be. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I've been kind of like stealing people's takes of lately. Like I even like apologize to Carrick because I'm like, the ACL should play more. And also your take now that free agency should have a signing period where it clearly starts and clearly ends because, I don't know. That could be another talking point in the CBA to kind of
don't put the free agency period like 5 days after the World Series. Like give players a month, an entire month, give them the entire month of November. Just they can relax, train, whatever they want to do.
Play the World Baseball Classic?
Yeah, playing the World Baseball Classic. There's your take. And then, from, let's just say December 1st to January 15th is, it's a month and a half, basically, where you don't have to sign, but ideally you would want your big name players to sign in that time frame.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like you said, putting a deadline on it also motivates teams to do something.
Yeah.
Right?
Like the winter meetings are right around that time period anyway. So, I mean, just give the players time to not think about contracts for a month.
Yeah, for sure. All right, any other hot takes that you got? I don't think I.
Yeah, I think I'm all taked out for today.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and we appreciate all you guys tuning in. Lots of comments, lots of guys giving us some fodder to talk about too. Because honestly, this was going to be a light show because there hadn't been too much.
Turned into 2 hours.
2 hours talking about relief pitchers. Yeah, January.
And we didn't even really touch on the Gavin Lux trade much at all.
Yeah, I guess all in all, it kind of stinks. The Gavin
it needed
Lux
to happen,
experience.
but
It did. But
he was also
like Sirota and then get, I don't know what they got back other than Burke, right? It was just Burke. So like,
yeah, that was it.
I don't know. Do you trade Mike? I guess in a weird world, do you trade Mike Sirota for Brock Burke?
No,
I don't think so. That'd be a weird trade to give up.
But then again, like when we traded Sirota, he was just drafted. I think he was a 3rd round pick. I think he was Northwestern, if I remember right.
Oh, really?
Outfielder. There wasn't a whole lot of hype behind him, and a lot of Reds fans, like even like I remember Nick Kirby was like, "Who?" when they traded him. But obviously, in hindsight, he becomes a top 100 prospect. I'd be like the Reds, let's just say in 2021, they make a move and Ellie De La Cruz gets included in a trade. And then the next year he becomes who he is. It's like, you just don't know.
So that is interesting. I wonder if we ever will interview a Reds organization player personnel or something like that. It has some like near miss trade stories. Can you imagine if they traded Elliott like from he signed in 18 to like 21 before he really took off?
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Like, obviously, it's never going to happen. But if we could get Nick Krall on, just because he was general manager at that time.
Was he?
Like, he became general manager the same time David Bell got hired. So I'm curious because, like, I'm assuming he would have been the one in charge of signing Ellie then, right?
Probably.
I wonder, like, obviously, teams are like mid-level prospects. Give me somebody a DSL or whatever. Like, there had to have been a couple, I would think.
Maybe.
Especially when he had his growth spurt.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that'd be crazy. And also this week, or whenever arbitration happens, that scooball stuff is happening.
Oh,
I don't know what that's going to look like. That could get ugly.
They're obviously, I don't think they're going to side with Scooble, but I don't think they're going to side with Detroit. They're going to put it somewhere in the middle, right?
I don't think you can. I think that's why it's a crazy thing.
What was the Tigers' number on that again?
So I think Scooble asked for 32, and I think they offered 18. No.
I wouldn't be shocked if they pick Scooble just based off back-to-back Cy Youngs.
Yeah. I don't know. The pitching market is kind of crazy in terms of that, but I don't know. Yeah, it's one or the other, and I'm trying to look up the numbers, but it was a wide difference. Who knows? They could make it. I guess the thing you're talking about, they could make a deal before it goes to arbitration, like Carrick was talking about with Stevenson. They could meet in the middle to avoid arbitration before they get into the actual.
I don't see that happening because I think they're going to have to trade him.
I don't know.
I mean, it's such a crazy number that I don't see them signing 31. But you're lowballing him at 19. Like, good. I'm just going to be like a whole nother show here. Top pitcher MLB salaries.
I mean, Garrett Cole's making like upward of 40, right? Like it's like crazy numbers when you start talking about starting pitching.
All right, here we go. I'm going to name a pitcher. Tell me if Tarek Scooble's better. Zach Wheeler.
I don't know, because like I think he's very valuable to the Phillies. I put him in the same type of ace category, I guess. But
let's just say if you were picking one pitcher, Zach Wheeler or Tarek Skubal,
Skubal,
$42 million this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Jacob deGrom.
Is that a joke?
$38 million.
Oh my goodness.
Garrett Cole, 36. Tyler Glasnow, 32.5.
Really?
Sonny Gray, 31. Corbin Burns, 30.8. Nathan Eovaldi, 29. Blake Snell, 27.8. Shohei Ohtani, 28.2.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised if Skubal wins his case. It'd be crazy, but
yeah, I don't know. It is kind of crazy. I honestly think that Detroit's gonna win the hearing, unless, like I said, they make a deal before they get to the hearing. That's probably the best case scenario.
Garrett Crochet, 28.
Yeah.
Robbie Ray, 25. Aaron Nola, 24.
Yeah.
Luis Castillo, 22.7. Skubal's making 22.5 already.
He is? I thought that was
last year.
I thought this is
from Spotrac.
This is a projection. That's a 26. In 25, he made 10 million.
Okay, but still, okay. If we're going by 2025 totals, Blake Snell made $64 million last year.
What? Blake Snell? That's crazy.
Zach Wheeler, 42. Grom, 40. Garrett Cole, 36. Eovaldi, 30. Corbin Burns, 30. Glasnow, 30. Carlos Rodon, 27. Tanner Scott, 25. Jack Flaherty, 25. Sonny Gray, 25. Robbie Ray, 25. Luis Severino, 25. Aaron Nola, 24. Kevin Gausman, 23. Luis Castillo, 22. Max Fried, 22. Chris Sale, 22. Pablo Lopez, 21.5. Nick Martinez, 21.
And everyone wants to trade Hunter Green. He is the cheapest.
I know. It's what kills me.
Yeah, and it probably kills Hunter because he feels probably undervalued.
Aroldis Chapman's making $10 million.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I think that's a projection of 22 because
it is. Yeah,
I think Detroit wins.
But if his projection's 22 and they offered him 19, what would he pick? 31.
32. He filed for 32 million.
I feel like you could make the case that winning back-to-back Cy Youngs and being 29 years old, I think you could make the case that he gets it.
Yeah, you could, and that's what it's going to come down to. Is you going to make his case? Detroit's going to make their case. Sound like the record from Mike says David Price got an ARB deal of $19.75, and that has to be like 10 years ago, right? Like David Price he's no longer in the league. From what I remember, he came up in like 2011 he wasn't on that 2008 team, was he, for Tampa?
Yeah, he was their closer.
So yeah, his ARB deal was probably
2009.
Well, no, he's probably still pretty ARB then.
2010.
Probably 2012, 2013 range. So that's 10 plus years ago, at least, right? That's crazy.
Yeah, so in 2024, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. won 19.9. So as a hitter, he has the highest as a hitter.
Okay.
The Blue Jays offered 18 and 18.4, and I think yeah. So he won the case on that one.
Yeah, it looks like Mike is doing
2015.
2015
was that
ARB deal.
That much later after? I guess contracts were a little different back then too, right? Was that a previous CBA?
Yeah, probably. They ripped up the CBA in the pandemic year anyway, so like
yeah,
definitely had some. But anyway, yeah. Get off track. It's going to be kind of crazy to see how it all gets reported and comes out for at least Skubal. It seems like he's not going to get an extension in Detroit. It seems like he's a Met, Yankee, or Dodger. It sounds like if Detroit's not willing to offer up big money on him, but we'll see. They talk about. I mean, I always kind of get on the Cubs for being a big market, small market team. Detroit's kind of that way too. They operate on a small, thin budget so that they save some money here and there. Because there was like when they made the playoffs, they had like a crazy low 26-man payroll. That was like it was nothing compared to when they went up against the Guardians. Oh, the Guardians were too. Yeah, they had less 26-man roster payroll than the Guardians, and that's saying something. So yeah. All right. I don't know if
went on another tangent, but
clip it.
Yeah.
Whatever we said. Hopefully that was good. But yeah, if you got anything else, please like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. We appreciate everybody in the comments. Helped us keep going for 2 hours plus today. And hopefully
we got another player coming on here pretty soon.
Oh yeah, is that finalized, Ricky? Are we getting that?
I'm still waiting to hear back on a day, but
okay.
Yeah. He wants to come on, so
stay tuned. Another guy that wants to talk about baseball, a pitcher, right? This time around.
Yep, we got a pitcher for second time.
That'll be good to hear from that. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see that interview. We'll tape it and put it out there for you guys and probably preview it with some clips and whatnot. So really appreciate everyone that stuck around with us for this 2 hours. And if you got nothing else, Rick, go Reds.
Go Reds.